Alright, just a second, let me get this all set up here. Alright, make sure this is all up and running. What's up, Clarky? What's up, Justin? This may get a little boring. I'm not going to do any music because I don't feel like fighting any takedown notices because of copyrighted music. And Mike wants to go ahead and watch this when he gets home from work. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a live stream of me beginning the process of porting the vehicle. There's a whole lot more involved in it and a bunch of fine-tuning that's going to take more than the hour I'm going to spend on this. But what I'm going to show right now is the beginning stages of porting an A2 vehicle to A3, getting it set up, hopefully getting it configured, and possibly getting a good test run in A3. So first step is we're going to pick which vehicle we want to go ahead and do because we haven't decided yet. I know it's going to be a wheeled vehicle. Don't want an armored vehicle. You know what we might just do? Because everybody's been asking for it. We might just do this baby right here. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. Okay. Yeah, UAZ. I hate the UAZ. You guys haven't gotten to see it yet, but where's my vehicles at? Add-ons, fishing boat. Some of you guys may have seen some of the stuff we were messing around with, but I just added this guy in today. That'll be in the next update. It's another boat. A lot smaller than the fishing boat, but it's quicker than the raft, which I think we're going to be removing the raft and making the raft craftable. But I've got the Land Rover in, It just needs some fine-tuning. It tends to catch air when you hit bumps. But it's a pretty cool looking vehicle. Came out pretty nice. Get some reskins on it. Get some different textures, so you got a bit of a variation instead of just the green one. But we do have some things coming in the update that weren't in the last one. What am I running that's slowing me down? Nothing? Okay. Sometimes it just runs a little slow launching this. It can get kind of annoying. Come on, load.
Yeah, my god, I spawned on an island on the test server, basically.
Yeah.
And the zombies spawned at the lighthouse on the island. The one little lighthouse.
I broke Bulldozer.
Mine doesn't even work.
No? Okay, there we go.
No.
And we're going to go all the way back. There we go. So yeah, this guy's in-game. Those are just the proxies, so you won't have these things attached to it. But you'll be able to drive that. Okay. Everybody's always asking me programming questions like I'm a programmer. I don't do that shit. I do the port work and I configure stuff. Eventually we'll make it so you can shoot out of it. We haven't done any turrets yet, so that's gonna be a process to go back through and add turrets to all the vehicles. But we do want to have the ability to shoot out of vehicles that you should be able to shoot out of. So I'm gonna shrink this a bit, and we're gonna go ahead and get started creating this vehicle. I'm gonna create my new folder, Humvee. And I'm just gonna drop that guy, and I'll delete the shit I don't want later. Ha! And just for reference, I'm going to copy these over too. Just so I don't have to come back to this folder later. Now, in case you guys don't know, these vehicles, everything we've been porting comes from the licensed Bohemia data packs. This is all stuff that Bohemia has from previous games that they have released to the public and allowed us to mod into Arma 3. The Arma 2 files come in two different license packets. You've got your APL packet and your APLSA packet. Most of your terrain stuff's going to be in APLSA. All your vehicles and weapons and characters are going to be in APL. So most of the stuff that we do comes straight out of here. You know, they've also released the data packs for the DLC from Arma 2, which you will need when you're doing stuff that is from the British Armed Forces or ACR, PMC. You'll need to have these for the textures because you can't get those straight out of your Arma 2. But I'm not going to need this anymore. What I am going to need, I'm just going to open up another folder because I love opening folders. I'm going to open up my CA folder, and we're going to use this as a search folder just to find textures. Because what we need to do right now is repath all the textures, my favorite part, You'll notice everything here has a CA path to it because it's still all linked to ARMA 2. We need to update these to either textures that we're going to have in our data folder, or they're going to be updated to ARMA 3 textures. So we'll put the ARMA 3 paths in there. I use quite a bit this page that the Community Upgrade Project has put together. That is a list of all the ARMA 2 textures and RV mats that are similar to ARMA 3 textures and RV mats. It's a great reference if you're porting vehicles. It's located at WIS6. You can just search it up. You know, common files between A3 and A2. Or, yeah, maybe I can put this in the description real quick. Alright, that should update for you guys. Now my video playback seems to have died. Are you guys seeing what I'm doing on my desktop? Alright, give me just a second here. You are? Okay, I'm just going to continue even though I can't see it. Alright, so utilizing this page, let me go ahead and just move this to the main screen. I don't even need to have it very big. So all I'm doing right now is textures. Killer, you're killing me. Okay. So, back to mass textures. And what we'll find out is a lot of these are already in ARMA 3. Saves a lot of space. You don't want to be copying over anything unnecessary when you're working on stuff. And this is one thing that I'll need to point out. Some of these, you know, this will still work being a TGA because it'll automatically say PAA when it's looking for it. But if you're anal retentive and you want all the red to be black, that'll work. The nice thing about utilizing the A3 stuff instead of utilizing the A2 stuff and copying it over is I don't have to change any of the paths inside these RV mats that are already in ARMA 3, which is one of the most painstaking and boring parts of porting the vehicles over. And I would love to be able to just double click and copy some of these lines, but it always tends to leave spaces, so I end up manually doing it. And with your paths, you got to be really accurate. Extra spaces will screw things up. And as you're seeing, a lot of this stuff is already available. We don't even have to do anything to it. Just change the path. I like this one. 12 millimeters. Close enough. Now what these RV mats are for is defining the penetration values of your vehicle. So they're really important for allowing your character to get shot inside, or not allowing your character to get shot inside. This is how Arma decides the strength of the armor on your vehicle, or whatever material you're placing these RV mats onto. Oh, come on, I want the whole thing. Yeah, this is a really handy resource. I'm really glad that they put this up there for everybody to see and use. It saves so much time. Yeah, and we are mostly done with this list of textures here, as you can see. And we haven't even had to copy anything over yet. And one more RV mat. And I think that's going to be just about all I can get. Yep. Okay. Now the rest of these, I'm going to have to source all of these from the Arma 2 files. So I'm going to pull up my little search folder here. And the first thing I want was that red light. Now, everything in your Arma 2 file is going to be listed as PAA. So never search for TGA, you're not going to find anything. I'm going to take this red light PAA and paste it up in my data folder. Now I can change my path. And change it to PAA. And we're there. It's black, which means it's found it. We're good to go on to the next one. I'm just going to change this one real quick. There we go. There's no file with the backslash in it. See if there's any difference in these two. Yes, there is. Which one do we want? Yeah, what I'll end up doing later on is taking one of these and just making it as a hidden selection, and I can make a different version, but I think I'm going to go with the green one for now. I just need to remember which one that was. That one. Yeah, these first ones are all going to be 10. Now glass probably wouldn't matter too much, but it's always nice to check. Yeah, they're going to be the same. And then my RV mats. I should already have these. Humvee Body 2 RV mat. Is that already up in here? It is. So now we're just going to go ahead and change the paths on these. Okay, and then that is all we need to do for the texture repathing in the model. I'm going to go ahead and save this, close this up. Now, what we need to do is we need to go through each one of these RV mats, and we need to search out any additional PAA files that we don't have in here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So I use Notepad++. You can use Notepad even though it looks atrocious, or any of the other text editors. Doesn't matter. They edit text. People just have different preferences. Keep file editor. Nope. And I have a ton of shit open. Alright, so here we have our Humvee Body RV mat. The RV mat is it's the texture mat that combines multiple different textures or texture types, as well as other pertinent information on those textures. You can edit a lot of how the textures look and affect your vehicles within your RV mats. This RV mat is for the body, and it's going to contain a bunch of files we don't currently have. So I need to go find these. And then I will first go through and find all the files, and then I'm going to go through and change the paths afterwards. I like to do everything all at once. That way I don't get confused on where I was at or what I was doing or what I've already copied over. Yeah, you can do it however it works for you. Everybody finds their own little way of doing things. This is probably the first time I've done any port work without having any music going. And then here you'll find this will be in most of your RV mats. What we need to do is find that in this list of common files. Come on. and change that out. Now I'm going to go through and change the paths on these. And then one other thing that's going to seem funny, but I'll explain it here in a minute. Okay, what I just did there was I made everything lowercase. One of the things that we need to make sure we do when we're pathing A2 content to A3 or our own content is that any paths that we put in need to be lowercase so that in the future when we do port this over to Linux, we don't have any problems with the uppercases. So it's just best to do that right from the beginning. And then I just get lazy. I copy paste all the stuff I need to change. Or at least as much as I can. Alright, and that is the first of quite a few RV mats that we're going to have to go change out here. I can close this stuff. This is what I was working on earlier. Alright, save us some space. Nice thing is, we've already got this all done up from the first one. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over. Now these ones, we're going to have probably quite a few things like these that we can get off of this list here. So we're just going to double check body canvas 1 Ti. Yep. Now what these RV mats specifically are for is the damage model. This is where you'll see the bullet holes, broken glass, the blackened body. These RV mats do all that, so it contains stuff like the damage images that Arma 3 has built in. We just use those because they're easy to use. Everything looks the same, but it works just fine. Sometimes you'll find stuff that's not available in here, even though it should be. Plec 2, I'm just probably going to use the regular full. So we're going to go ahead with this. Or, if you wanted to, you could always pull this from the Arma 2 files and put it up in here. Doesn't really matter too much. Personal preference. Yeah, that's probably going to have to be one that I have to search for. Yeah, and always look at the very top and at the very bottom. Just because you get down here to the environment land CO doesn't mean that's the last texture. Sometimes there will be textures further down, and sometimes there's textures at the very top. Now, don't worry, we're not going to be changing out all these because obviously I don't need this because we're not doing the M998. Yeah, not going to need a lot of this stuff. Just make sure that's not in there. Okay. And this is going to be very similar to the other body one that we did. Okay, we've got 2 of the bodies done. Looks like we're going to have a couple more to do. Actually, that's probably the very beginning one I did. Yep, that's easy to do. Well, time's going by real quick. Alright. So I'm probably not going to be able to get this in-game before I got to go to work. But hopefully I can get it up in Bulldozer so we can at least get a preview of what this is going to look like. Okay, I've got all the body files done, except for view. Oh, you know what? This is going to be for the adventure. I don't need to do this. So that's another one I'm going to go ahead and get rid of. I'll tell you what we're gonna do real quick before I end up wrapping this up. Back to my folder here. I'm gonna rename this. And then, just to get this in here, now we're going to open this back up real quick. We're going to change some paths. Thing you have to do for every vehicle you port from ARMA 2 is you have to change all the proxy paths because they're still pointing towards ARMA 2. What we've got right now is cargo seat. I'm going to go ahead and change that out. Okay. It's 3 clicks to open it up. Now you don't want to mess with the proxy ID. Proxy ID just identifies which cargo position that is. Something you can mess around with later on. You know what, I'm going to change this. Okay, and then I want my driver and then just to do this quickly, I'm going to go back through and I'll change all these later. To something a little more fitting if I can find it. Alright, now that I have my proxies done on my first LOD, I'm going to have to go and change them all out on all the other LODs. So what I want to do first is I'm going to delete them from the other LODs. And then I will paste them over from the other LODs. Now that'll also be in your shadow LOD and probably your fire geometry LOD. So just make sure you don't miss any, because it will cause problems later on. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now we'll go ahead and see what we can see in Bulldozer. And Bulldozer is just your, it's your 3D object preview. It's basically a stripped down version of Arma 3. Allows you to view a basic version of whatever models you're working on without having to load up into Arma 3. It's a lot of functionality that it doesn't have, and it doesn't tend to have very good lighting. And there we go, with the clan symbol. We now have a vehicle. And then what you can also do, say I want to go to my view cargo LOD. Notice how it changes based on what LOD you're looking at and what you've got selected. I don't have what I'm looking for. I've just got the proxy selected, so I'm going to unselect everything, and now it's showing the entire interior. As you can see, the interior texture has gone on correctly. Now when you load into game, these proxies will disappear, these character proxies, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, there we go. We've got a vehicle put together and textured. And in the next video I do, which will probably be, well, I'll probably wait until tonight to do it when I get back from work. We'll go ahead and we will finish up doing all these RV mats, and we will get started doing the config files and the model CFG. That's probably going to be another 2 hours worth of video right there, and that'll get us to the point where we get to bring it into the game and test. I wish I could go longer, but I've got to go to work, guys. So thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed the video. It wasn't too boring. I know it's kind of boring listening to nothing while I'm just working and not talking, but I hope it was at least informative. Mike. And yeah, join me next time. Thanks, guys.
And we're out.
And we're out. That was the really boring part.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Brewfest thing here in just a little bit.
Yep, I've got to take a 5-minute shower and then go to work. But I'll be back on voice later.
I might try to take that bus and get it all separated.